Many of us want to grow, but let's be honest, something always seems to get in the way. John Maxwell calls these obstacles growth gaps, and there are 8 of them that often hold us back. So let's break them down. First, the assumption gap, or I'll grow automatically. Many people believe that simply having more experience will make them better teachers or better leaders, but growth isn't automatic. It requires intentional effort. Next up, the knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow. Sometimes the biggest obstacle is not knowing where to start. Growth can feel overwhelming when you don't have a clear plan or a clear direction. The timing gap. It's just not the right time. We tell ourselves we'll start when things slow down or when conditions are perfect, but spoiler alert, they never will be. The right time to grow is now. The mistake gap, or I'm afraid of making mistakes. Fear of failure can stop us before we even begin, but mistakes are often the best teachers. We learn more from them than doing something imperfectly than never trying at all. The perfection gap. I must find the best way before I start. This mindset keeps us stuck in planning mode, waiting for the perfect method instead of taking action. Progress comes from doing, not waiting. The inspiration gap. I just don't feel like doing it. Motivation is a fickle thing. It comes and it goes. Growth requires discipline, especially on the days when you don't feel inspired. The comparison gap. Others are better than I am. Comparing yourself to others can be paralyzing. Instead of seeing their success as intimidating, why don't you use it as inspiration to fuel your own growth? And finally, the expectation gap. I thought it would be easier than this. Growth is hard work. When we underestimate the effort required, we often feel frustrated and we give up too soon. Each of these gaps represents a mindset that prioritizes comfort over growth. The first step to intentional growth is identifying which gaps are holding you back. For me, the timing gap was my biggest hurdle. I always thought, I'll just start when things slow down, but they never did. Now, let me challenge you to consider which of these gaps resonate with you most, and what can you do to start closing that gap today? In the following activity, you will identify the gap that most resonates with you and create a plan to overcome it.